Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and when the prices are going nuts, one thing I keep getting is people are asking me the tokens I like and all. I went over in earlier my list of tokens, but I want to drill down here because to this day people are lied to about when you watch the media. They're lied to constantly about, you know, for instance, Bitcoin being this scarce thing and it's the only one and all that. That's not true. Not only is it not true, but there are other digital assets that have the scarcity of Bitcoin, but they're also deflationary. And we're going to talk about which ones some of those are in the group. You can go to daixrp.com to join the group. And by the way, they don't just have the deflationary and scarce aspects, but they also have utility, many of them. We're going to talk about that. You can join through daixrp.com, the Patreon, or click join below any of my YouTube videos, or hit the subscribe button on X. Want to remind everybody, Caleb and Brown is one of the companies that it's one of my partner companies. This is where I hold a lot of my digital assets, and I do it for three reasons, the basic three reasons. The one is that I get free institutional custody that they use Fireblocks. Two, I get an actual person I can talk to and or email to put orders through, so that if any of these other exchanges go down, I don't have that problem. I have somebody I can talk to. And the third reason is that they're hooked up to all kinds of over-the-counter liquidity providers, so that when the time comes there, I will have the kind of liquidity I need to get out of my XRP or whatever my digital asset is. You can go, I created a domain name, it's xrpwealth589.com. That forwards you to my page right here. You just click sign up today to sign up for a Caleb and Brown account. We have ourselves a 342.43 XRP and 43. I think this market, when Trump signs that bill, is going, they're talking about crypto regulation on CNBC in front of the White House right now while I'm talking. This thing, and it's not, I mean, that's just the speculative price. I think things are going to, because of speculation, things are going to go nuts. Friday historically has been a good day when we're in bull runs. Friday night especially. But the important thing to understand is that the big money is now coming. These guys have the green light. As soon as Trump signs that thing, the big money, the banks, everybody. Now, I think it's important on this day to remind you of how we got here and everything we went through. I've been saying it for years. You've witnessed a fake crypto, and this is true. This entire crypto market, the Bitcoin being at the top, all this, it's completely fake. You've witnessed a fake crypto market all these years because you didn't have a level regulatory playing field. They designated Bitcoin only, and for a short time, they tried to rig it for Ethereum too, which we uncovered. But they gave Bitcoin this fake commodity designation all by itself, not legally, just the perception to the market. The government was involved. They were all involved in creating this fake regulatory clarity, while they went after companies like Ripple, went after XRP. But this was Ryan Zagone. For those of you that were not here, this is Ryan Zagone spelling it out back in like 2019.
Proof of work doesn't work. Proof of work doesn't work.
Ryan, proof of work's been working.
Let me finish. Proof of work doesn't work.
Finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them, that doesn't use mining, that's cheaper from an energy perspective than Visa, and already scales to 1,500 transactions a second. A lot of these problems have already been solved. The challenge for adoption comes back to policy. The policy uncertainty around some of the assets has limited adoption, particularly here in the US. And I'm speaking from Ripple and XRP because we use that asset because it's a half a cent per payment. It's basically free. It scales and it's efficient. So 1,500 transactions a second at nearly no energy burn. So we're at a point today where there are real solutions to all of these challenges that already exist. Policies become the challenge. And we heard on the first panel that around centralization on China, and this is going to be a hard pill for Peter to swallow. But 80% of the mining power for Bitcoin is controlled by 6 mining pools, 5 of which are in China. Today, the policy certainty in the US exists for Bitcoin and Ethereum, despite the fact those are China-controlled platforms. So activity goes to those platforms. What we need to do from a policy perspective in the US is look at the places where there are uncertainty. And one place, I'm speaking directly for me here, is XRP, where it looks like Bitcoin. It's decentralized, it's open source. We have 7% of the validation power on that, rather small in there. Grouping or giving clarity to those ones that are very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, that have the same characteristics and should be classified the same way. And then we're creating a level playing field across all the cryptos. I'm not anti-Bitcoin or anti-Ethereum by any means. I think there's a lot of great potential and breakthrough there. But we need to have a level playing field so the market can pick which ones they want to use and not be, as today they are, hindered by regulatory uncertainty.
Exactly, and that's what the Bitcoin people have feared all this time. By the way, the ProShares XRP ETF is live. Looks like it's roaring. Now, remember, that's not my understanding is that's not a spot ETF, by the way. President Trump, big signing at 2:30 in the White House. Congratulations to our great Republicans for being able to accomplish so much, a record in so short a period of time. All the Democrats do is complain and criticize and get nothing done. They are a party of the past. And then here is, they're talking about stable coins as a bridge on CNBC.
Joining us now, Summer Mersinger, CEO of the Blockchain Association. She previously served as a commissioner at the CFTC, nominated by former President Biden, and she will be at the bill signing at the White House this afternoon. Summer, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
3 pieces of legislation. The Genius Act really moved the markets. I'm wondering, Summer, how you envision stable coins and that industry evolving now that there will be regulatory guardrails that are necessary in order to guide the growth of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll just continue to see this industry grow. The guardrails provide the customer protections that were needed to ensure that those who want to be invested in this space have the protections in place that they need. And really what we're seeing is a dollar dominance with stablecoins that will continue. And we're going to fulfill the president's wish of making the United States the crypto capital of the world.
I'm curious, Summer, as to how you think this fits into the traditional banking landscape, insofar as having more stable coins will enable people to do cross-border money transfers more easily and more quickly, payment settlement to vendors much more quickly and cheaply. And obviously that takes away from the bank's role in this. The Bank of America, the Citigroup, as well as the JP Morgan CEO all spoke about how their businesses could face some disruption in the long term from stablecoins.
I see stablecoins as a bridge to traditional finance. I think it's only
who's been talking about being a bridge for all these years?
Going to make financial services more accessible, more convenient, and those are all good things for the financial industry. So I really see this as a technology that's going to be well integrated into our current financial system and really take us into the next century with financial services.
You're darn right. And I wanted to play you a little bit of this.
Does not have the same weight of law, but it sends a strong signal that could encourage 401k plan sponsors to include private assets in their offerings. Now, that's a big market. There are more than $12 trillion in assets in defined contribution plans. Nearly $9 trillion are in 401k plans alone, with more than 70 million participants. While that's also a big number, the average 401k balance is less than $130,000, with baby boomers holding just under a quarter.
Now, and that goes hand in hand with, I think I got it out of order here. I was going to show you this. This is from Matt Hogan. The Clarity Act and generic listing standards for crypto ETPs will create an on-the-run, off-the-run valuation element in crypto. You can already see it happening if you look at the year-to-date heat map below, with the majors dramatically outperforming the miners. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I just got off the phone with somebody, and I'll remind you, I was a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. I'm not now, but I was. So I was explaining to someone what this meant. Trump set to open U.S. retirement market to crypto investments. For those of you that have never had a 401k with a company, here's how it works. Wall Street has had this whole 401k system rigged. Just to use an example, let's say someone in your local town works for an insurance company and they have a 401k plan. Well, they've got an administrator for that 401k plan. And these administrators are going to give a menu of things that the employees of that firm can invest in through their 401k. And it's all, just by coincidence, it's all Wall Street stuff like ETFs and in the past mutual funds and stuff like that. But it all basically invests in stocks and bonds pretty much. So how will things change? Well, we're having people say that crypto will be a lot. That Rick Edelman guy the other day said he's telling his clients crypto should be 10 to 40% of your portfolio. So what happens once Trump opens this market up, and people start to find out that crypto needs to be 5 to 40% of their portfolio? What happens when they find out that some of these ledgers, like the XRP ledger, are not only a good investment because they're a digital asset, but the XRP ledger is also going to be part of what tokenizes the stock market and all the real world assets? What happens when the world finally begins to figure what we figured out years ago? Well, I'll tell you what happens. Think about it. Okay, they said 9 trillion in 401k. Well, just do the percentages in your head. What if it was only 1 trillion of those assets that came in? All of a sudden, we go from a $3.8 trillion market here to a 4.8 trillion. Just with that doesn't include anything else. Just with 401k plans. I think if there's 9 trillion in it, that figure will get ultimately to 2 to 3 trillion of it coming into this market, maybe even more. That's what we're talking about. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, and I'm going to go over Bitcoin that doesn't have it doesn't have utility, and it doesn't have a deflationary mechanism. This is one of the big lies, and neither does Ethereum. And even AI has been programmed to lie about this, folks. And I will show you the list, and I'll show you how they're lying and what's being lied about. Go to DAIXRP.com to join through the Patreon, and then if you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button below any of the YouTube buttons, or you can go to X and hit the subscribe button. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.